listening to Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is mid-April. It is April 16th, and it's Two Queers in a Truck time with Christian and Benny. Holy crap, it's April 16th. And I guess continuing our 2024 tradition as we watched it blow by, which is not bad. That time seems to be going by faster, or I'm busy for Rich. But Chris, I've had a busy year. For people that follow the shows, or both of our shows, our sister show, the Coffee and Pandulce show that we've been doing for 8 seasons now, and this show for 6 years, or 6 seasons. I have a significant other, actually a wife now, and, have a business in Charlotte, and a stable and happy life, and couldn't be happier. And of course, I get to do these shows every week with my bestie and my BFF, my boo, and we're off camera friends. For people that have not watched the show, maybe this is the first time you're listening. Christian and I have been friends since close friends since about 2019, and we're social friends outside here. We go to galas and political stuff and just hang out buddies, and no telling where we'll show up. We're like a bad penny. No telling where we'll show up. and going slumming around Charlotte, greater Charlotte, North Carolina area. But so we have a lot of inside jokes. Again, if you're a first time listener, a lot of inside jokes, a lot of things you may have to watch several episodes to get. But I digress, but it is April 16th if you're watching this for the first time. And let's get started, and we're going to jump right into it. My favorite hated author, trash third-rate author, and I'm not going to even give her name, but her main character rhymes with twatter, and is real hairy. She went after asexual people, of all people, which is a small part of the LGBTQIA acronym. For people that don't know what asexuality or demisexuality or ace means, it typically means more for people to be attracted to somebody. It's more than just the physical. It leans more towards the mental or cerebral or emotional. A lot of the people, and it's not limited to, but a lot of the people that are on that are on some type of autism spectrum or have very specific traits. Very, very small minority of the population, and I don't identify that way, but I several people I love do, and she mocked it. She said cruelly on International Asexuality Day. She said happy International Fake Oppression Day to everyone who wants complete strangers to know who know they don't fancy a shack. Now, this supposed children's author is talking about other people's sexuality, and it always dawns on me when somebody's obsessed about other people's sexuality or genitalia, depending on which, moral high ground, totalitarian idiot that runs their mouth about other people's deal. I'm like, so you're worried about what we talk about by talking about it. So you're worried about people being gay, or asexual or trans by hyper focusing on it. What does that say about you? Like, they're at least involved with it. At least it's part of who they are. But you're not even part of that community. What does it matter to you? And asexuality doesn't mean that they don't have sex. It's just that they need a few more boxes checked to have sex with people. It doesn't make them better than somebody else. It doesn't make them worse. It just makes them different. Leave people the fuck alone. Especially if you have lots of money in the bank and you have nothing but white people problems, which is worrying about somebody else's day. If that is the biggest thing you got to worry about, you got too much privilege. I'm just going to tell you right now. You've got a massive issue with reality. You have a massive issue with not having any self-awareness whatsoever. You got to be so unaware of how bad you sound. And you must not have nothing but yes men around you. Just like Trump has. Trump says the stupidest things in the world, looks stupid. He has a terrible appearance. He looks like a sack of sweet potatoes with a dead raccoon on his head. Like, he has no gay people in his life to tell him the truth, for sure. Because there's not a gay man in the world that wouldn't look at you and go, honey, this is a mess. You know, like, the fucking Dean definitely doesn't know any drag queens of any repute. But this second, third-rate author that's from the UK that has no real talent has ripped off every sci-fi fantasy genre with her shitty books. It seems to have an opinion with a lot of people's lives. Targets them for violence, funds terrorism against trans people, actually funds actual terrorism against us, both in the UK and the United States. And it's just a fucking psychopath. She's an absolute fucking psychopath. And you got to wonder what drives that other than narcissism and narcotics. I would imagine somebody like that must be really familiar with the white powder. I'm not talking about convection sugar. We won't leave it at that. But that she comes off as somebody that is a narcissistic cocaine. There, I said it. You know what? I'm sick of people like her thinking she's entitled to have an opinion about people like me. So I'm going to start saying things that I don't know. Allegedly, I think she has a coke problem. She looks like she has a coke problem. She has the behaviors of a cokehead. She's probably got to be a cokehead. Just saying. I could see her doing rails off people's genitalia or stomachs. Probably in private or a truck stop. Winky, winky face. And it's just like the televangelists that get caught with sex workers. It's the people that go, like Jimmy Swaggart, that, claim they've seen. It's the conservatives that call people child groomers, and then 6 months later you catch them with kiddie porn, or you catch them with inappropriate pictures, or with the kids themselves, or they get a 13-year-old girl pregnant. They're the who farted kids of the world. Whoever smelt it, Delta, the wild accusations, they're never going to stop, and it's fine. It's kind of how those Salem witch trials went. They accused women with opinions that they had to be witches because they're not slaves of their husbands, or they were lesbians, and they just killed them for it. They set up an impossible test that either way they're going to die. And now, 400 or 500 years later, we're still living with the same mentality. No matter what queer people do, it's never going to be good enough for these 15% of the population of trailer trash and morons and cokeheads. Just like that third-rate author, allegedly. But she's just a waste of time. But it is weird when people get so upset, like there is a city council person that tried to ban pride flags. They tried to ban a flag, not queer people.
Mm-hmm.
In Orange County, California, right-wing city council member Mike Munzine, known as his opponents as MAGA Mike,
Mega Mike.
lured a standing room only audience to a council chambers Wednesday night with his proposal to ban all flags on city property in the town of Aliso Vallejo, nestled just east of Seaside Laguna Beach, with one exception, the American flag. He wanted to ban everything else, just no flags of any kind. The problem is he'd also ban all flat MAGA flags. He'd have to ban everything, but he's trying to ban. The main target was the pride flags, and just I guess for some reason doesn't like rainbows and ponies. And it's so weird that they get so caught up with these symbols. It's so weird they get so caught up on what genitalia people have. They're fucking obsessed. I don't think about their mayonnaise having missionary style, boring ass lives where their housewives show up at truck stops just to get their thrills. Or they come and they text me, winky, winky face. But these people are a joke. And it's ignorant. 164 people spoke in opposition. Only 13 people supported it, which is probably just his friends from the trailer park. But people are tired of it. We're seeing this more and more. I wish they'd been more tired of it last year and made the right decision in November, but they didn't. So we're not quite tired of it now. But now that the tariffs are kicking in, we're just going to see how much we hate other countries, but we're going to find out how much our hate's going to generate in costs when you put 100% taxes on certain imports, literally doubling the price of the import. We'll see how they like that cost of those eggs and strawberries and everything else. But we are up against our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck right after this important message. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Happy Pride. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching the Two Queers in the Truck Show 2025 edition. We have a new special show that is coming on as part of the Canis Media family of shows, and it's the Tony Foreman Show. And they're going to talk about a little bit different things than we typically talk about on the coffee show or the queer show that we often reference. And it's going to be a little bit more of a serious show, a little bit more of talking about very specific issues amongst Latin, Latino men and Hispanic men. Tony Foreman is the Afro-Latino. And then I'm assuming that Christian's going to be on the show as well, which is a Latino male, a Tejano. And they're going to talk about things that are probably important to their generations, to what's going on in pop culture and where they fit in the world. And I guess that's always the existential question. Why am I here? But anyway, if you want to know why you're here and you whether you fit in that demographic or not, it should be interesting. I know Tony and Christian will keep it light and funny, and probably a little bit of silliness in there too, to boot. I'm looking forward to listening to it myself and not having to actually produce a show all the time. But please tune in at 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings when that show drops, and enjoy more shows from the Canis Media family in 2025. Thank y'all. Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. And we are back. But I'm really blown away because now there's a bunch of billionaires, and I saw several articles in the last few weeks, as markets, securities markets all over the world are starting to struggle. And some of these companies are starting to struggle, like Target, for example, that ended their DEI program. Their sales have plummeted. There's multiple groups boycotting, like millions of people. There is some companies really taking it in the shorts. But most of all, and this is really, really important, this anti-import attitude when we import so much because of cost. We like the affordable goods bounced on the backs of slave labor all over the world, but we think it's going to generate tax revenue. And it might. It will for a while. But as sales plummet because things cost so much, people will buy less import cars. But the Americans that work for those companies that sell those cars or service those cars in this country, their jobs will get cut. If they import parts in, they'll have to either raise prices on those cars, which in turn will make sales go down because they'll be uncompetitive in this market. So there's assembly of manufacturing jobs in the United States and Ohio, Texas, and all that, where they have Toyota plants and Honda plants and all those, because the cost of building the car costs more. Their sales will plummet. They're going to have to make decisions. Also, competitiveness will go away. American car companies will raise prices too because they can. If a Honda Civic goes up by 10 grand, the equal product in GM, Chrysler, and Ford, for example, they'll also raise prices. They're not going to leave them the same because they can make 10 more grand and not sweat it. It's not like they're going to let that price gap exist. So guess who's going to pay for that? The middle class and the poorer people in this country, not the billionaires. The billionaires don't care if a car costs $100,000 more. They could spend $1 million a day on living and still only spend $365 million a year. But if you have $10 billion worth of assets, that's not even a fraction of what you're worth. They make more off interest than if they lived off $1 million a day, which nobody lives off $1 million a day. You can't spend $1 million a day. It's actually impossible to spend $1 million a day. It's a proven fact. You cannot spend $1 million a day. There's no way to do it. The movie Brewster's Millions proved that. And that was like $40 million that Richard Pryor, as a fictional character, inherited. He had to spend a certain amount of money in a certain period of time, and he couldn't do it. It's impossible to do it. I know people are going to fact check it, but it's really, really hard. So sales taxes like tariffs, for example, which is a sales tax or an ad valorem tax, only affects the middle class and the poorer areas of the country, mainly red counties. That those incomes are usually about half of what there are in blue counties. Poverty-stricken, lowly educated max. will be hurt the worst by tariffs. They also typically are working a lot of the jobs that'll be cut because of this. Yeah. And since they're slashing government benefits, I wonder how that's going to impact them. I wonder when they slash the Department of Education that subsidizes all rural schools, where are they going to get the money from if they're not getting federal money? Most rural schools are Title I schools, believe it or not. Poverty-stricken schools. Most city schools are not poverty-stricken like CMS schools here in Mecklenburg County in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're actually a high wealth school district. We are able to subsidize the shortfalls from the state and the federal government. Our rural neighbors cannot. So when those federal monies dry up, that the states can't distribute anymore, like monopoly money, what then? When they get rid of the Department of Education. Ooh. No more Title I money. No more welfare for the MAGAs. And it's just the beginning. And a bunch of billionaires on Wall Street now realize that. You know, some of the same ones that funded this guy that's in office right now, that supported Musk, right? Sissy SpaceX, now are realizing how stupid they really were and how bad of an investment this is really going to be. And that's the problem. In other news, our favorite drag queen, George Santos, is back in the news.
Oh, I hadn't heard from him in a while.
He federal prosecutors want to send George Santos to prison for 7 years. Daniel Villarreal of LGBTQNation.com. So the DOJ is seeking a 7-year prison sentence for out-of-the-closet former Representative George Santos after he pleaded guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft last year. His lawyers had requested a 2-year sentence. His official sentencing is scheduled to occur on April 25th. Santos initially denied the allegations, but was removed from Congress in 2025 after a House Ethics Committee investigation found substantial evidence of his fraudulent use of campaign funds for his own benefit. He also admitted to fabricating parts of his campaign biography. But the prosecutor is asking for 7 years. He originally faced 23 federal charges, including wire fraud, identity theft, money laundering, theft of public funds, and making materially false statements to both the Federal Election Commission and the U.S. House of Representatives. He originally called it a baseless witch hunt. He's now since admitted that was all lies, and is now for sure going to prison. It's going to be between 2 and 7 years, and who knows what the judge or jury decides. But he is going to prison. I guess he gets to be a drag queen in prison too. His dance card will definitely be full.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he's got a pretty mouth. I'm so sure the boys will take care of him. But good for him. I mean, he's going to get, a nice little prison condo, 3 squares a day, all the conjugal visits he wants. Not from the outside. And he'll still be famous. I'm sure reporters will come interview him in prison. He'll probably write a book after he gets out in 2 to 7 years. George Santos is experiencing the find out part of life. And I love it. I love the fact that MAGAs methodically are going to go down in flames. And it's going to be funny as hell when some of these others experience this, and it's going to be one hell of a decade. That it's going to be interesting in the midterms next year, and it's going to be more interesting in 2028. Because what are they going to do? Because they're running a gauntlet right now, and they're running a race against time, and they're losing. It's not like Trump is getting younger. It's not like he's getting less senile, less lost, or in better shape. I mean, he looks rough. He looks rough. And yeah, he may have dodged all the prison things by becoming president again. But he's trapped in a job that he doesn't really want, in a life that he never really wanted. Justice gambling, which is why he originally ran for president. It was just another one of his scams like Trump University. But we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck after this message. Hey everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy Pride. Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. Hey y'all, this is Jenny with Two Queers in a Truck, and Christian's along with me. And we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it, and we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye y'all.
Bye y'all. Bye boo.
Bye, boo. But honestly, he's getting what he's earned. A GOP senator is claiming that entire men's teams are turning transgender just to win in women's sports. Now, he's not named any of these teams.
Of course not.
But Senator Tommy Tubesteak Tuberville, the former ball coach from Alabama,
Yeah.
is pulling this charge out of his ass. But it's wild. It's really wild. So the reality is, this genius doesn't realize there's fewer than 10 women that play that are trans women that currently play college level sports in the entire country. Not in a state, but the whole flipping country. 10 trans people. 10 trans women, fewer than 10 trans women right now playing any kind of college sport as women. 10 out of 100,000 college athletes, men's and women's college athletes, maybe 150,000 college athletes, maybe more. 10. We could fit them in the same sprinter van together. They could all ride together to a sporting event. 10 people barely would make up 2 squads, an A and a B team for a basketball team. And it's fewer than 10. It's not even 10. It's single digits in the whole flipping country. That's how rare trans women and trans girls participate in sports on any kind of level. There's a couple of reasons. One, we only make 0.25%. 1/4 of 1%. 0.25 of the population. And that includes people in the closet, out of the closet, and somewhere in between. And some that don't know they're trans yet. They're just little baby eggs walking around, ready to be hatched. One of the smallest minorities in the entire country and in the entire world. And the wild claims, the wild allegations that the right-hand part of idiocracy claim that the entire teams have become trans. We can't name one. Can't name one college sport team of any kind. Any men's team in any sport has become entirely trans. Because that would be some hella news. You'd have to wonder what their training regimen is like if they turned the whole team trans. If that was even possible. Working out and eating differently doesn't turn you trans, by the way. Just, I'm trans, Sarah. It didn't happen that way. But the kind of people that would believe this shit would actually believe that some college is turned their entire team trans.
Mm-hmm.
But if it did, Fox News and all the other mouth breathers, they'd have a news van. They'd fly people in. There'd be a media circus, a whole sporting team on the college level or any level. Pee-wee football, high school sports, college, pro. The whole team actually literally turned trans overnight, just like slut magic. Just boom, all of a sudden the whole team's trans. Especially like a foosball team of like 55 athletes or something. Can you imagine? And not all women's sports have an equivalent on the men's side.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't even name the sport or the team.
So, hey, Jed, question. Sorry to interrupt you. So, was he saying this like why was he saying this? I mean, does it any context to it? I mean, does it say why he was saying it other than he just?
It was during a business meeting.
Okay.
A business meeting of the Senate Committee on Health, Education, and Labor, and pension in Washington. So it was during the committee.
So he's insinuating that there are, because he wants to highlight. First of all, it has nothing to do with anything, but does he not know that he has to know, but the NCAA passed a rule, I think, a month and a half ago, that they limit the amount of transgender women that can play in women's sports. So a whole team couldn't do that.
Correct. And if they did play women's sports, for example, let's just say they did.
Yeah.
So even before this rule change.
Yeah. Okay.
There's still so many guidelines on testosterone levels.
Exactly.
Blood testing. Mm-hmm. They go through more stringent testing than cis women do. And for people that listen to the show somehow don't know what a cis woman is, it's somebody that was both assigned female at birth, according to their genitalia, and their brain matched it. Their gender identity matched it when they got older. Some people call them natal women, female, whatever the term you want to use, natural born women, which is a bigoted term. First of all, there'd be such a controversy if that happened.
Exactly. You would think we would sing it on Instagram or something.
It's not even common for men to come out as gay and play football or maybe
exactly.
Tell me how many gay NASCAR drivers there are.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know of any. There may be. But they typically don't come out of the closet while they're playing, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most gay football players that come out after their career's over. If at all. And very few have ever come out.
Mm-hmm.
Same with pro basketball. I think there's been one or two one-offs. I can't really remember anybody. It wasn't ever like a superstar, like a Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan or anybody like that. Somebody you go, who? I didn't even know they were an athlete. I didn't even know who they were, because I didn't follow the team. I didn't know anything about them. Like, it was much ado about nothing. And that's just gay, which is way more common, way more frequent than trans is. There's about 10% of the population is gay or lesbian. Some say the higher. And I guess if you add in bisexual, it's a little bit higher. Probably more like 20%, 25%. Some say 30%. But it's definitely nowhere where there's higher teams. You don't have enough.
Exactly.
People, you don't have enough men that transitioned into women in the NCAAs at any one time to even form one team. Not to mention, of all the trans women they're in, let's say there's 8 or 9 of them total. Let's say it's just shy. Let's say it's 9 for shits and giggles. So that's also all the freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. It's spread out over the multiple divisions of college sports. So there's Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and so on and so forth. There's a myriad of sports, both in the men's and women's field. Like, these probably are so eclectic.
Yeah.
And so spread out. And probably some of them are like golf.
Yeah.
Or fencing. Or something so esoteric. It's probably not even a sport that most people would even watch. I'm not casting any aspersion to any of those sports. But it's not like college football players are now going to go play women's rugby.
Yeah.
You're not seeing a Heisman Trophy candidate grow boobs and go play women's rugby. Or male basketball star, men's basketball star transition and go play women's basketball on the college level. You're just not seeing it. Maybe swimming, for example, like Leah Thomas. But the best she ever did was 5th. Naturally, she tied for 5th.
Exactly. Yeah.
Name me the medal for 5th place. I think it's paper.
Yeah.
Or tennis.
Exactly.
And then you get out a Magic Marker and you make your own.
Yeah. And you put 5th. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. You're tied for 4th place loser. You didn't win. 5th, you might as well have been 15th. Do you remember the 1984 100-meter 5th place champion? Because Carl Lewis won the gold. And 4 field and track and field things in 1984. I don't remember who came in 5th. I don't even remember who came in 2nd. We just had the Summer Games last year in France, in Paris. Naming 5 Olympic gold medals from that in any sport. I'll sit here and wait. Most people do. That's how important most sports is. And that's the reality. You hear that tree falling in the forest? I didn't either. Same argument. But that's all we have for today. For 2 Crazy in the Track. And we're going to dance on out. And we'll see you next week. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching 2 Crazy in the Truck. And as always, be safe out there. There's a lot of crazies. Some people think transgender people are multiplying in line. They're taking over college sports. But anyway, we're coming up to Easter and Passover and all that. I hope y'all enjoy the upcoming holidays. They're right around the corner. Enjoy your festivities safely and responsibly. And we'll see you next week on some more 2 Cruising Track. Thanks for listening as always. Bye, dude.
Bye, boo.